Okay, so we are teachers at Hagwon, and we're teaching intermediate students. So their reading is pretty good. However, they're
lacking in other productive skills.
Such
so
as
we should focus on those productive skills.
like writing, speaking, listening. Cool. So we're doing Tuesday, Thursday, 60 minutes and 60 minutes.
Without any break time.
Cool. So day one.
So our main topic is the formal request. For formal request, so it should be our language objective.
Right. Cool. So I guess we should start with Leiden, I guess. I think we should add Leiden. It's probably the best way to add Leiden. So we can maybe, as a teacher ourselves, we can ask student informal and formal request and see how they respond, and maybe let them talk about which ones do you prefer and why do you think this one's better or this one's bad.
Yeah.
That's sort of like a Leiden.
Sounds cool because so that students can activate their schema. But we still use those pictures on this paper.
Yes, we will. After we'll use visuals.
Yeah, this visual aids
to see how, with different situations, and see how they can maybe react to it. Yes. We also have these. Like which of these favorites would you bother you most?
Seeing this, I don't think it seems rare. It's
I don't
really
think
useful. So why don't you omit this?
Yeah, so we get rid of that. Cool. And then we have, guess we process.
For our next step, that is processing input. Here is a listening activity. We keep this, but why don't we delete the script? Because it's a listening activity.
Yes.
I don't want them read first for their true listening.
Yes,
so we
yes,
can,
yes. That's what top down, and we can ask top down, bottom up questions.
Top down for the relationship and bottom up for the more detail.
More detail. So I can think. And then guess we'll move on to new language. Focus on new language.
Yeah.
Or
I see some useful modal form, but there are also like I wonder if don't you think they are too tough amount?
Yeah, like it's
too much.
It is quite a bit too much. So since like the main topic is could you do me a favor, so shall we just focus on could and
let's focus on the modal. Could and
would.
Modal. I could and would.
Could and would. Okay, just listen. So we're sort of modifying this in a way. So we're getting rid of can I borrow, is it okay, I wonder, blah blah blah.
Yeah, because our students are intermediate, that's gonna be too much. So could and would.
Yeah. Cool. And then I guess let's restrict
to practice this modal form, we should also think about the restrict.
Yes. So for this one, I think this is fine the way it is.
Yeah, looks fine. I agree.
It's pretty good activity, so we should just keep this and keep this. This is when we can do like TPS maybe. They can compare with their pairs. And then maybe compare answers and then
that sounds good.
share it with each other. In a bit. And then comparison check.
And we also need to put more real life conversation practice. Like
oh yes, we have one.
fluency for their fluency. So
we have this one called borrowers and lenders.
The number 7.
Find out how generous you are.
So you want to reorganize?
I think we should organize.
Putting next to restrict.
After restrict. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So they can ask. So it's a pair work, and they can ask. One of them can be a borrower, one of them can be a lender, and they have to ask as generously as they can using could and would, which they learned on new
Yeah,
language.
but they still can use other phone because it's a fluency.
Oh yes, but yeah, of course.
Okay.
Oh yeah, forgot. We need to teach procedure. Procedure. Okay.
Yeah. What procedure do you want to prefer use for our
guess
day one?
first thing we should teach is probably attention getter, like doing hand motions or clapping hands
Yeah.
to get attentions.
Because the time is not sufficient, so
It's probably a good to
yeah, we can use attention getter like clapping.
more hand motions.
Before we end our day one, I want to give them homework. So
What sort of homework?
on our first page, at the bottom of the right,
3B.
right
Yes.
page,
3B.
there is a rewriting activities. So we can consider this as our
Homework.
students' homework.
I'll make them more formal. Oh yes.
Because they can practice what they learn. They can remind the form.
Remind them not forget what they learned.
While they're writing, they can practice.
Yeah, and if we see any students struggling with this, maybe we can give them a lot of feedback. Also.
Feedback.
If they do need it, and maybe if they really need it, maybe just private one-on-one, just teach them.
For slow
Students, yes. Only if
okay.
if they're really
They
struggling.
can email us or
We'll obviously see that when we're monitoring
Okay.
around the
good.
activities. Cool. And then.
So we move on our day two.
Thursday. Yes. Same hours.
Since we have our homework, so
Procedure.
yeah, you can put procedure because they should hand in their homework. So before they start the class, they should put their homework into our homework box.
Homework box.
Okay.
Yes. So we should start the day like that. Yep. So they can hand in their homework.
Then we should start our
And then we start day 2. Yes. Cool.
day two.
Leiden. Okay.
I want to concentrate on the word lexis because
Vocabulary.
on our first day they practice the grammar a lot. So yeah,
Day 2 is more
we can
vocabulary.
vocabulary.
Yeah, sounds good. And then they can relate to how they use could and would, and then by the new vocabulary that they can.
Still they have there is a connection.
Connection between it. Yeah, that sounds good to me. Guess we start with Leiden again. We obviously, I think we have to add one again. It would be good to maybe show a formal email and an informal email, and then guess. We can do this kind of different way. We can either show just the formal one first, and make them brainstorm it.
Formal one.
Or maybe we show both, and maybe compare it in a way.
Comparison
What do you
more
think?
sounds good.
Compare? Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, cool.
comparison.
Yeah.
So
Other one's fine.
at the same time, we show two types of email. And,
And then we go to activating schema. Do we want any listening or writing?
No, I don't really want because we already have a listening activity. Thinking about our students' need, they want to practice more speaking.
And writing.
And writing.
Productive. Oh, okay, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is omitted. Okay.
Delete the listening.
Delete. Remove. So for that one, the writing.
Number 6.
Yeah, number 6. Do we want that to try anything with that? Or?
Two types of emails are shown. So
We can ask top down bottom questions. Right?
down bottom up. Okay.
Yeah. it's a bit of like it's kind of sort of like what we did in Leiden.
It's
you know,
quite similar.
but this is we can maybe show just a bit of vocabulary. We can maybe continuously relate this to our new input, just the vocabulary.
So in this email there should be a more challenging word.
Changing
So,
vocabulary. Yeah.
So continue.
And then it continues to the number 8 word power. The
Okay.
new input, which will teach new vocabulary such as God, what do we have? Apology, request.
So you want use the word power as the new processing input?
Input in a way, yeah.
Yeah.
We can teach that by repetition, or there's a lot of ways to teach this, but repetition is probably a good one too.
Because those are a lot of unfamiliar vocabulary. So by repeating those words, students can confirm clarify the pronunciation or intonation.
Yes,
yeah, that's
yes,
good.
yes. Cool. And I'm wondering if we should do another authentic practice with this one, or have restricted and authentic. But I think it would be
activities. We should think about activities.
But I think it would be just good to focus on authentic because, like we said before, they're like some productive skills.
Yeah.
I think maybe in this.
They should also. Yeah. They should.
This
they
in a
should
way.
do- Yeah. You go on.
Maybe this in a way can provide those. It could provide both even maybe.
Could you tell Jeff? Yeah. Let's keep as our
Authentic.
activities. Number 9. That looks good.
Maybe another pair work, I guess, and they could. One of them could be. They could be on the phone, maybe.
So each partners, each partner should take each role. One is like you said.
Oh yeah, like the one.
Receivers.
Receiver, lender.
And caller.
Caller. But this time, but they can now use could and would and the new
vocabs.
vocabulary.
Location.
And I guess, do you want homework again? I guess.
But we missed the fluency activities.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Fluency activity.
There's I cannot see there is a fluency activity. So we should add.
Oh yeah, you want to have one? Yes.
What type of fluency activity you want?
Let's see.
This vocab. Thinking about this, our target vocabularies. Okay. We have our students choose some collocation among those that they learn. In their conversation. Well, you don't really have to select choose the topic as long as they use
these words, the new
yeah,
words. Yes. Yes.
It could be their fluency activity.
Okay.
You want to choose some specific topic for using those words?
Could be any topic. Let's say. What do I have here? Don't take too much. Could be about pet, maybe. This is pet. To take care of my pet. Maybe asking. About
the situation could be they're about to travel, so they need someone who take care of their pets.
Take care of the pet.
Yeah. For that situation.
Okay. Yeah. So in a way, these two in a way are fluency in a way. For and in a way, kind of relating, because we're using this sort of topic towards
Yeah.
this fluency.
It's pretty enough to practice the older form that
Yeah.
we teach.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so homework?
Homework.
For day two.
Homework.
Finish, we are finished.
Oh, I finished? Okay.